If you can just get your mind together, then come on across.
Welcome to The Experience, and tonight on The Experience, Chef Lori is back with us from the Culinary Underground. She's going to be making up some Super Bowl snacks for us. Now, I have to admit that when I invited her last week, I did assume that we were going to have Super Bowl snacks for the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but still, even though we don't know who will be there and it won't be the Patriots, we'll still enjoy the snacks. Right now, though, we do want to talk about some great things that are happening at WPI, a way that maybe we can go out and be involved in a workshop and not have to know a whole lot about bioengineering. Rachel, thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Let me talk a little bit, just first of all, about here in central Massachusetts. It really has kind of reinvented itself. Used to be that we always heard, oh my goodness, it was just this cliche about how Worcester, old mill town, and you know, and you had this image in your mind about these factories that had been abandoned years ago. But that's not what Worcester is at all, of course. Anybody who has lived here for any period of time. WPI, Gateway Park Project, has so much to do with that. Tell me a little bit about just what it is that bioengineering is. What are some of the things that go on at WPI? And then we'll talk about how some people can get involved in that.
Sure. Well, WPI has bioengineering programs. We have life science programs that range from biotechnology and biochemistry and chemistry through to the engineering side. There's a lot of electrical engineering, mechanical engineering that's involved in the life sciences for producing medical devices. At Gateway Park, WPI developed that venture specifically to be able to house some of the research that's been going on in those facilities, including tissue engineering and regenerative medicine.
And what I love, of course, is that now people who go to WPI able to stay right here, and that's your path as well. Now, you're a life scientist.
I am.
And a graduate of WPI.
Yes.
Now, what does a life scientist do?
Well, they can do a number of different things.
I have images of you there splicing genes together or something.
I've done that.
Yeah? Okay.
But there's a lot of different paths that folks have taken from the life sciences. They've taken paths in research and development. They've taken paths in process development. So some of the folks that work at Abbott Bioresearch Center, for example, help to develop the process for how things go into production and manufacturing. We've had life scientists go into manufacturing, into sales, marketing, pretty much any aspect of the business.
Now, you have a Fundamentals of Bioengineering program. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, WPI, as you know, has had a long history of helping industry with workforce development. That's how we were founded back in 1865, and we've tried to stay true to those roots. And this biomanufacturing program is really focused at workforce development from a different angle than you would normally think about WPI. Normally you would think about the scientists and the engineers,
right.
But this program is really focused on the operator level folks. So folks that would work at Abbott, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Genzyme, Shire, they all need folks at the entry level to make sure that the processes are run. This program helps to support getting that pipeline.
Now, does that come, I mean, as part of the pipeline then the undergraduates at WPI as well? This sounds as if this is different than just coming from the student population.
Yes, it's actually not coming from the student population generally at all. It's mostly been comprised of folks from other manufacturing disciplines whose jobs have seen their jobs go overseas, or people who have been laid off for reasons that were beyond their control, that are looking for a new industry to get into, but don't necessarily have that bachelor's or master's degree. They typically have a high school diploma and a willingness to work.
But here's a way for them to get involved. See, I think that this is maybe very different than what we think of when we think of WPI. You were just talking about some of the differences with WPI and the way in which it was founded and what its mission really is. The way that it works with the community seems to be part of this as well. So many of us drive by and we see the Gateway Park from 290. I'm thinking now that we have no idea what's going on inside as we go driving by.
Most people think of the scientists in the lab coat. And when they think of biotech, that's what they think of, and that's their association, and they don't realize what a strong part that they can play in the biotechnology industry.
Well, because it seems intimidating.
Yes.
Just the fact that, you know, when you talk about biotech or biomedical, and and you're talking about people who don't have an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, I think that, yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I would be intimidated. I would say, oh, you know, how could I go and learn a new discipline? But as you're saying, some people who have been downsized, and this has been a tough economy for the last couple of years, it sounds like they should be getting in touch with WPI.
Absolutely. It's been an amazing experience. We've run this program a number of times and helped to place people in jobs in biomanufacturing. And it's been really wonderful to see them walk in the door, I would say a scared freshman, looking to see, is this really going to be for me? And then by the time they get into that first week, they realize it's about mechanics. It's about following standard operating procedures. You know, it's about the principles of manufacturing that they're already used to. It's just applied in a little bit of a different way.
Rachel, how many jobs is this in Massachusetts, and particularly here in central Massachusetts? And when we talk about central Massachusetts, we're up at Devon's, we're out in Metro West in Framingham as well.
Yep.
Tens of jobs, hundreds of jobs?
Hundreds of jobs.
Hundreds of jobs.
Yeah, Genzyme is actually building a new manufacturing facility in Framingham. Bristol-Myers Squibb is going to have to pretty much double what they have in terms of capacity for manufacturing once they start actually producing product. And then there's normal attrition.
Right. Now, and you have an open house coming up that people can go to and be part of, and we're going to talk about that straight ahead. So hang on, but this is a way that maybe you're somebody who has been thinking about looking for a new career or switching over. This might be your opportunity. We'll tell you about it straight ahead right here on the Hank Stolz Experience.